Good day everyone, welcome back to Clean Cut EDC. We've got that Pickled Steel RAGNAR with us today, and we are doing a full review, overview and outdoor test as well as urban EDC test. So this guy is also known as the Met Rhino in some countries, but in South Africa it is OEM'd by Pickled Steel and it is known as the RAGNAR. So let's first just see some of the other models. Right, so there is the black one as well as the brown one, but the green one is definitely my style. So I prefer the green, that's for sure. We've got multiple opening options here. We've got dual thumb studs, so the thumb flick is phenomenal. Reverse flick is fantastic. Using that little slit also works very well. And then we also have a front flipper, and it works well as well. So there's that. So it's got multiple opening options. It does run on ball bearings. And we've got a nice size stopping pin right there. It's my Carta scales, 14C, 28N on the blade, and looks very nice with this bead blast, sand blasted finish. Quite thin behind the edge, but still quite durable. We've got a deep carry pocket clip, inset into the scales, inset screws, very nice. And we also have a nice micarta backspacer. The micarta scales rest on full stainless steel liners that are also bead blasted. So it's a nice uniform look. We've got that beautiful blue pivot collar. This thing looks insane. Now what's interesting here is we do actually have a rotating button. So you can see it sort of catches your thumb right there. So the button does rotate to some extent. That just adds to the comfort. We've got some nice jimping on the blade, as well as this little, almost I want to say choil, that you can use to bear down, get more power on the blade itself. Then what's very interesting and unique about this knife is it's actually it's like a reverse liner lock. So it doesn't work the same as a button lock. It actually works like a liner. So there you can see the liner is engaged now, and this button disengages that liner. So it's almost a mix between a liner lock and a button lock, giving you the comfort of a button lock, but the durability and strength of a liner lock. Let's see if we can carve a spear using our Pickled Steel RAGNAR so that we can fish, hunt, even pitch a tent or pin down a tarp, or even if we just need something for survival and self-defense in this outdoor scenario. It's so beautiful here in the garden route up in the mountains, and there's a lot of wildlife in this area. Here we've got some buck tracks, and we even saw a leopard the other day crossing a road nearby close to the mountain. I'll just include the footage. There we go. And this is not far from where I'm at the moment. So guys, as you know, I'm not really allowed to make any fires in this area, but we will just check if the RAGNAR can strike a flint. And as you guys can see, it does a good job. That's a 90-degree spine, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. I also don't feel like I'm going to slip onto the blade. It works perfectly well. So let's see if we can use the RAGNAR to
create what we need to initially start a fire by emptying out a pine cone, the fluff from a pine cone, and then piling onto that to actually make a fire. And as you guys can see here, the RAGNAR does a pretty good job, slices through that pine cone quite easily, and now it's just doing the scraping tasks. So it did manage to get a little flame going there, just as proof that you can use the pine cone as an igniter. Of course, we can't go all the way since we can't make a fire here, but it can be done. Here we're using the RAGNAR to carve a feather stick that you can use to transport your fire or just to add to your fire.
Righto guys, that actually concludes our outdoor test of the Pickled Steel RAGNAR, or if you're in America, the Remet Rhino. And durability wise, man, this thing is holding up well, right? There's still no blade play at all, which is difficult to say for something that has a button lock component. So I mean, that's terrific. Just you can really feel the added durability and strength and lockup that you have with the liner lock here. So that's a fantastic innovative design when it comes to the Pickled Steel RAGNAR. Now what I think impressed me the most was ergonomically. This was a comfortable knife to use in an outdoor setting. Yes, of course you have to add a little bit of power, right, when it comes to the carving tasks and all of that, but this little landing spot for your thumb, it works very well. And it also allows you just to get a better grip on the blade itself, more control, more power when you need to do those strenuous cutting tasks. So I think I also admire just the micarta here. Never that I feel like I'm slipping, never that I feel like I don't have enough grip with this guy. And we did all that you would basically do in a general outdoor setting. We made prepared some things for fire. We made a spear that you can use for fishing or pinning your tarp or setting a trap. We emptied out the fluff from the pine cone that we use as our initial igniter. And I just want to say again that I'm not allowed to make fire up in the mountain where I'm at right now, because we've got a lot of mountain fires, and we have a plant or plants called fynbos, which lights up like crazy. So all I wanted to do with the ferro rod is to show you guys that it actually can strike a ferro rod, and you guys could see that it is actually taking flame on the pine cone fluff, so that you can see that yes, you can actually use the inside of a pine cone to ignite an initial fire and then build upon that. It did well also with the feather sticks. Yes, all carving tasks, you know, it's going to depend a bit on how dry is the wood and all of that, what type of wood it is. As for your spear or something that you need to carve perhaps quickly, you definitely want to go with something that's still wet, right? A soft wood that's still wet, that you can dry out after carving. It's going to make your life a lot easier. As for the outdoor test, that concludes our outdoor test. I am very impressed with this knife. Still very fidget friendly, opening like a dream, and just a dream to have in pocket as well. This pocket clip is also quite nice, goes in and out of the pocket. The retention is fine. I had to climb over a couple of trees, didn't move at all, didn't shift, didn't nothing. Fantastic, everyone. So I think let's do a couple of size comparisons before I give you my final thoughts. This is the Spyderco Delica and the Spyderco Para 3. So here you can see it's about half a centimeter longer than the Para 3 and about a centimeter longer than the Delica. Compared to a Pickled Steel Akal, we have about 2 centimeters shorter than the Akal, and compared to a Penguin, we have about a centimeter more on the RAGNAR than the Penguin, and this is just for size comparison. We have the big lighter, so you can see around about 2.5 big lighters. So I think it did pretty well in every test. What I really enjoy about this locking mechanism is the fact that it has a detent. So it's got a detent right there. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that, but on the little liner there, it actually does have a detent. So it keeps your blade nice and tucked in. You really need to use quite a bit of power to break that detent. And so you have the assurance that this thing is not just going to open up in your pocket or anything like that, which can be sometimes a little bit of a issue with button locks, right? So you don't have that problem. You've got the added strength, but you also still have that fidget factor that you have with a button lock, which is very enjoyable. Definitely get a lot of grip on this. It nailed every task. It's not as thin behind the edge as I imagined it to be. And therefore it's not quite as slicey as I thought it would be. However, it's a lot more durable, and that's a trade-off, right? Either you're gonna have something that's super slicey, but the edge is gonna roll quicker. You're gonna maybe pick up a couple of nicks and cracks sooner with a thinner edge geometry. But something that's a little bit thicker behind the edge, of course, you're gonna have a lot more durability. And I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of sliciness. It's not like it's not slicey. You guys saw in the test, it's still very slicey. But it has a little bit more thickness behind the edge, which creates a bit more durability that I think is a win for me. Then I think it did really well with the cardboard cutting as well as the food prep. I never felt that I'm missing out with this blade. I think the edge size and the blade length is plenty enough for any actually cutting task that you will need in an EDC setting. The paracord, you can include that test also in an outdoor scenario, but it did very well with regards to that as well. Overall, I think you can't go wrong with the Pickled Steel RAGNAR. We tested it thoroughly now. It's still looking great after everything. You can see it's still keeping that beautiful sandblasted finish. The edge is still okay. Of course, we didn't strop it after all the tests and some just basic EDC use. And it's still cutting paper. It's not like a razor, but it's still cutting paper. So that is just a testament to the heat treat on that 14C28N as well. Overall, love this knife, highly recommend it. Guys, have a great day, have a knife day, and remember that no knife means no life.